What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rugged Adventures. I'm super happy to have you guys here today because we are doing a NATO versus NATO shootout. And with that, I mean, we're going to take a look today at the 308 versus the 5.56. These are typically not comparable. I mean, look at the size difference of these things. If I put the ends of them together, the 308 is quite a bit bigger. It is quite a bit larger in diameter than the 5.56 if you're not familiar with those. And so, in general, they're not comparable, but these are two rounds that are in service right now with NATO forces, with the United States and others. Anyone that's in NATO uses these, along with like 9mm and such like that. And let's see what the differences are, because at one point they sort of had the same job, so to speak. This is an AR-10. This is from Palmetto State, and it's one that I've not been having a lot of really good results out of as far as accuracy, but they use the 308 in various weapons throughout the years, as far as if they wanted to have a longer distance weapon, something that hit a little bit harder. And you know, this one has a 20-inch barrel on it, and so even with the accuracy issues that we've been having long range, short range here, it should just hit like a sledgehammer. With this rounds about 2,800 feet per second, and then that is getting about 2,650 feet-pounds of energy out of this 150 grain bullet here. With the frontal area of this being about 45.5 millimeters squared, you're looking at about 58 feet-pounds of energy for every millimeter squared of the front of this, and that's a pretty solid amount. Whereas this, the M4 AR-15 M16 model that shoots this 5.56. The thing with this is it's a tiny little 55 grain bullet, but it should be going 3,200 or so feet per second out of the original 20-inch barrel. This is a 16, which is commonly found, you know, all over the United States for AR-15s, and I believe the M4 is like 14.5 to 16, somewhere in that range. And out of the 16-inch barrel, we're only going to get this one to about 2,800 feet per second, and that is only going to give us just about 1,000 feet-pounds of energy, 24.25 millimeters squared of frontal area for this bullet, leaving only 39 feet-pounds per millimeter squared of frontal area, meaning that for today, this 308 should just beat the crap out of this 5.56, and we're going to use all the targets that you guys have seen here before. Our 1x1x1 wood block. We have pineapples to see if those things explode. We have steel plates. We have our solid concrete barriers, which I think that the 308 is going to absolutely eat up. Let's see if we can get some results before this storm that looks like it's putting down tornadoes comes through here. So let's start out with our wooden block test. But first, let's just hit some of these metal targets out here to kind of demonstrate the difference between 308 and 5.56. We'll just start going across the line here, and you end up getting target action with the 308. And I'll go ahead and put one in our wooden block. I'm not sure exactly where it hit. On the other hand, when you're dealing with the 5.56, much smaller round, and probably much larger. And then one in the top, and we'll go down and look at that. This one is going to be kind of surprising, I think. And you guys can probably hear all the thunder going on. There's a storm just north of us. But this is our entry for our 308. This is the entry point for our 5.56. They just have the newest burn marks. Obviously, we've had a couple of shots in here, and we can pretty much go almost right to the end. You know, I'm not sure which one of these is which, but I took this whole thing apart and cleaned out any old bullets, except for maybe this 45 right there from a different test. But they just continue to go all the way through, and you can see some of this new ripped up stuff, and you can usually tell because it's not as, I don't know, old and waterlogged as all the other things. And so we are through board, let's see, this is 6, and I believe that that is the 5.56, and I think that that's the 308. Going through here, board 7, still no bullets. And then we get here to board 8, which was screwed in like this. And here you can finally see a bullet. And if you remember, our 308 went in like down here, and our 5.56 somewhere up here. It looks like it maybe have started tumbling into there. This is our 308 right here. It, at the very last minute, it went in like that. That's the way I found it. I had to dig it out of that hole right there. And then this is our 5.56. On the back side of this, tumbling, it just barely didn't make it out, and it's actually facing the opposite way that it was shot into. And so for this test, for this one single shot, I'm gonna call it a draw. As a matter of fact, you could probably give it to the 5.56 since it went slightly farther through, but I'm gonna call this one a draw. Remember, it's just one shot. Leave your distaste for it in the comments. Okay, this is pretty clear here. 308 over here. Absolutely just demolished this thing. That is the front one. Did it do? It didn't do anything to the back one. So split it in half. It didn't actually even go all the way through. Actually, there's the bullet right there. The bullet is right here, and it's probably hot still. It's a little warm. It went about, you know, halfway through this block, but that was plenty enough to split the whole thing in two. The 5.56, on the other hand, you know, a lot of velocity and a lot of punch in a little tiny spot, but did not go all the way through. Put a little crack around this thing, but as we've seen before, a 5.56 is not going to go all the way through 4 inches of solid concrete. Now that we've seen what one can do, let's see how many it takes to finish the pile. First up again is going to be our 308 out of a 20-inch barrel. If I didn't mention that before. So we have one, count with me. 2, and that took out the front part of that first one. 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna call that destroyed at 5. And honestly, as those things were going, and you guys will see it on the slow-mo, those pieces in the front one just kept like coming down. And so honestly, I think it probably could have blown through in like 2 or 3 if that didn't happen, but that's just the way it goes. All right, 5.56. We are at 1. Then we got 2, 4, 5, 6, I think 14 will do it, but 15 just for good measure. I think it's cracked in half. And again, that one did the same thing. So it kept, you know, stepping down. So that's the way it goes. So here's our 308 pile. Obviously this one took a lot less shots than this one did. Much larger bullet, much heavier, going about the same speed as this one. The destructive power of this one's going to be several times more, and so that's why it only took this one like 4 or 5, and it took this one into the low teens in order to get those broken up. Let's see how they do on steel. Now, I know for a fact that both of these are going to be able to shoot through 1/4-inch steel, so I think we're going to start immediately at just 3/8 and see where we go from there. So here's something interesting. That storm that we just had over there and then went that way, it produced a tornado like 10-15 miles that way. And so this is my first YouTube video filming in a tornado, so be sure to, you know, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Come on, help me out here. We got a piece of 3/8 steel down there. We're gonna see if this 308 can punch through that. I don't think that we've had a 5.56 be able to punch through 3/8 steel. Maybe we have, I don't remember. But here we go. At this range, you gotta kind of hold over it a little bit, and we'll see if I can actually put one on target. And yeah, oh yeah, I can see the hole right through it already. We'll go down range and give it a look. Obviously, 308, 5.56. 5.56 put a hurting on it. It did. It put a nice little bulge in the back of it there, but that 308 just went cooking through it. You can see that there's blue on the metal there where it got so hot. So I sort of thought it would go through here, but I wasn't sure. Let's see if I got a piece of 1/2 inch laying around to kind of wrap the day up. So this 308 absolutely demolished that 3/8 steel. Let's see if we can get through 1/2 inch. That's something that none of the other guns that I have ever been able to do before. So that'd be pretty neat if we can do it today. This one's been shot a couple times, but it should be pretty obvious to tell if we go through this. So let's see, shooting from the shoulder here, if I can make that happen. I don't know if I hit it or not. I definitely hit it that time. So I thought I missed on the first one, but that's not the case. The first one just went straight through. If you guys can see that, which I'm sure that you can. The second one here did not go straight through, and I actually hit it pretty close, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think this is an older one. I don't even know what I was shooting with this. This might be a 6.5 Creedmoor. I'm not exactly sure, but my theory on why this one went through and this one didn't is that I want to say this is the first one that I hit, the one that went through, and this is the second one. You guys can see that that metal there is cracked, and it is just about to punch through, but it just didn't have enough juice. This one here, you can see it's not really that clean of a break. It's all, you know, granulated and such where the steel tore. And my guess is that the first shot, it was in here very tightly, and so all that energy was able to punch right through that. The second one, after this hit and kind of loosened this up, probably allowed some of that energy to be kind of dispersed into this block and, you know, just ring out into everything there. So pretty cool. 308 definitely wins this round, definitely won the concrete round. It's a draw on the wood block, but I think I have a reason why it failed on the wood block. I think it's the construction of the bullet. You see these bullets here, where they go into the casing, they have this like ribbed thing. I don't know what you'd call it. Maybe it's ribbed for the target's pleasure, not sure. So I think that as this thing went through it, it lost its structural integrity right there, and when it finally bent over like this, that just caused it to stop right in the wood there, sort of like a hollow point. But I got two little bonus things for you that I sort of forgot that I even had, and that is these two pineapples. Let's smoke these things, make some pineapple juice, and get the heck out of here. Let's turn these things inside out before the next round of naders comes and tries to turn us inside out. The one on the right. Was I hot? Nah, it's just a little bit to one side. And then the one on the left for the 308, or 5.56. And again, I think that one just went straight through. Let's go take a look. So there's our 308 one. Obviously, I sort of winged this one on the upper left, but man, does it just blow a chunk out of that stuff. I thought I missed this one, and maybe when I go back and look at the slow-mo, maybe I did, but I think I hit it here and here low on both of them because I've just recently resighted that for 100 yards instead of 50, and it's you know, a pretty devastating wound too. But like I found sometimes with 9mm and 5.56 is that on these really soft targets, it'll go through them and they won't even move. I've had 9mm with these things on that same shooting stand there. They haven't even moved at all when like a 45 or something just goes and just blows the side of them out, and they're gone. So guys, if you liked what you saw today, hit the like button down below, subscribe. I appreciate you coming out here in the thunderstorms and tornadoes and shooting stuff. I think that obviously the 308 is just much more powerful and puts much more of that stuff into the target, especially if you got hard targets like masonry or armor, steel, things of that nature. But the 5.56 is very capable as well. It's essentially tied on one of the tests. On the steel test, it still almost gets through 3/8, and that's putting a heck of a thing in there. The biggest advantage is that it is smaller, it's lighter weight, you can fit 30 of them in there, and that AR-15 weighs a heck of a lot less than that AR-10 when it's fully loaded. So again, subscribe, like the video. I'll see you in the next one.